How's it going, guys? Well, as usual, I haven't made any videos for a while, but you know, that's how I roll. So yeah, just been busy with work and customers, tractors and whatnot, and really haven't had anything that would be worthy of making a video about, so just decided that I'd wait till I had something interesting. So here we are on the QT16. Nothing too much has changed with it. It's still, still got his Kohler V-twin. The only thing that has changed is it's got a set of 231050 12s on it now. Oh, I hope that's oil on there. I really hope that's oil. Nope, it's water. Okay, I thought the transmission was leaking. It's good, man. But other than that, nothing's changed with the three of these. This thing I need to finish the wiring someday. This thing I need to acquire more parts for, and that's my brother's, so I'm not bothering with that. Oh, look at all the turds. Just kidding. Nothing's really changed much with any of these. I had that 44-inch Cub Cadet deck. I just sold that a couple weeks ago. And the only thing that changed with this is I got a drive pulley there. And after I get a little more work done to my diesel Sears, I want to get this running and driving. This, I need to get an alternator for it and wire the engine to the ignition so that it's fully seat operable. That thing needs a new battery and leaky tire fixed. This thing needs nothing. Well, I mean, it runs and drives and is useful. Wouldn't say it needs nothing, but it works. Oh, all kinds of crap every which direction in here, but who cares? We got a little bit of progress done on this today. The steering, whenever you flex the axle either way, the rear heim joint would bind up. So I took and, whoops, it used to be laid out flat and the bolt would go up and down through it. But as you can see, I took on another steering cylinder I got. That's actually the end of the, I believe it's Pitman arm. Well, it'd be this piece on a Cub Cadet, like 1862 or 1864, and somebody cut it off and left it bolted to a cylinder I bought, so I just cut it down and welded it in there, and that should do for what I need it to. So splendid. Now it shouldn't bind up when you pivot the axle. The other thing I got done today was the hydrostatic drive pedal. I had this rod butted right, oh, that's still hot. Anyway, the rod was underneath here, butted right up against the pedal, welded fast, and you had plenty of power to push it forward, or it was easy enough to go forward, but you couldn't hardly get it rocked back. So I welded this piece of, I think it's 1.5 by 1.5 angle onto the pedal, and then welded it to the pedal, or to the rock shaft. Now when you jump on her here, she eases forward, she eases back, and that's what we're looking for. The next step with this thing is eliminate the fuel tank. So if you recall from a video or two ago, I had those two parts tractors, the two Sears, and I got the Onins on them running just briefly. Well, I'm going to take the fuel tank and fenders off of one of those and put on this and the seat spring and everything, so that way I can have an under seat fuel tank for mucho capacitio, and that'll be splendid. And I think then we might get into the hydraulic hitch, but after I get the fuel tank on this and get that fuel tank off of there, I think I'm going to pause work on this and jump onto the Cub Cadet original for a little while. The old Duramax here, not much has changed. It's got 150,000 on it now, and still runs great. No issues with it. Knock on wood. Let's hope it stays that way. But yeah, not much has changed. Still a good old truck. Old Blue and her replacement frame here. Well, I stripped all the wires and brake lines that ran down the frame off, and in prep for paint. And I had ordered a Energy Suspension Master bushing set for it, and I was going to strip it down and start painting it and then putting it back together to go under the truck. So I had ordered the one master bushing set off eBay, and the next day I got refunded with the excuse that, oh, we can't ship because of the coronavirus. Well, I mean, okay, but every other company that I've ordered anything from, and every part we've ordered for the shop for all kinds of different trucks, haven't had any delays. But hey, whatever helps you wank at night. So I ordered another one from a different seller on eBay, and they gave me the same bullshit excuse. So I said, all right, maybe the Energy Suspension bushing set I'm trying to order is back ordered, even though all the eBay listings say they're available to order. But who knows? I've been lied to on the internet before like that. So that kind of pissed me off, and I decided to focus my attention on other things, like finishing up that customer's tractor. It was a 69 SpeedX S24 with a 10-horse Briggs that the connecting rod was in 6 pieces. Got that all done. I actually need to call the guy and see how it worked for him. Today's Monday, and he was using it on Saturday. But have you guys seen the dually Jeep before? I'm not sure if you have. But yeah, in case I haven't shown this in a video before, I think this is like a 66 or 65 CJ5 with a Dana 70 rear axle under it. And no, this isn't somebody's custom cobble job. Even has a 540 RPM rear PTO. And this is all Jeep stuff. You could get these, like, you could order this stuff from Jeep, like the axle. Oh, looks like we had a flat tire on the inside there. But anyway, this kit was for, like, say, a backhoe attachment. Came with a dually axle, the big springs, and see the plate that's bolted to the frame? It runs all the way to the front, and then somebody welded on a snowplow mount, but basically to just help reinforce the frame. But yeah, actual Jeep stuff. Pretty cool. Well, my Gravely has migrated over here because I traded it out for the nicer Bollens QT16, and it's just enjoying its life here in the air-conditioned warehouse slash shop. It's a little of both. But yeah, it worked good the last time I used it. I ought to get it out sometime soon here and mow something with it, just so it gets a little bit of use on it. But yeah, not a big deal. Ain't gonna hurt it just sitting here for a little bit, I suppose. Well, I suppose we're out of tractors to talk about down here, so I ought to head up onto the house, where there may or may not be a new addition to the fleet. Oh, dick. So now we're home. Where do you think you're going? Come here. Come here. Kiss a good boy, Pat. Kiss a good boy, Pat. Hi, buddy. Got to give our dog a scratch, because he's a good boy most of the time, except when you're bad. Anyway, first things turd. This thing's still here. I bought an adapter for a Kohler Command V-twin that you're supposed to be able to put a single barrel carb on it, and I went to put it on this because the intakes are pretty much identical, and I discovered that all the mechanism for the throttle or the governor and whatnot gets in the way, so that's not happening. So we're gonna part this thing out. I think I'm just gonna buy another Honda carb and jam on that thing and find a use for it. Bark, bark. But let's head on over to the crack shack over there in that direction and see what's going on in there. Let there be light and fucking hornets. Anyway, so we got the 73 SS16, the 78 QT16, the 89 1772, the 72 128D, and the 2011 650 brute force. So this thing got a bath. I used it and did a little bit of mowing, and I washed it off, and look, it's all clean. It's all clean. And I'm not sure I did a video on it, but I put a filter base on this engine, and I might end up making a separate video about this then. But in case anybody would know, this Onan had the plate bolted to the side of the block that you remove, and you can just bolt the oil filter base to. That one has just one pipe plug in. Is there a way to modify the block without too much trouble so that I can put the same filter base that's on this on that Onan? Because I don't know. So if anybody knows, it'd be great if you could let me know. Anyway, this thing works good. That thing works pretty good. It's slightly fussy, but it's not too bad. The Onan anyway. The rest of the tractor's mint. I mean, the Onan works pretty good. It's just, it seems like every few Onans that run good, there's one that is a little bit of a fuss pot, and that's this one, but it does all right. I can't complain about it too much. Of course, the old diesel working good. My dog is desperately trying to get me to play ball because that's all his world revolves around. But yeah, this thing's been working good. I ended up having a problem where there was some junk in the bottom of the fuel tank, and the previous owner's yard was all flat, so it never caused an issue. But once we got to my yard that has a bunch of hills and banks, started plugging the sock up, or the pickup screen up in the fuel tank, so I had to take the tank off and clean it out. I used this to cut the grass a couple times. It works pretty good. I like the pedal drive hydro, but I just wish that it had power steering and turn sharper. If this thing had pedal drive hydro, oh, it'd be mint. That thing, I haven't really used it since, well, I had my own little plow day. I didn't record any footage there, but it worked pretty good. It currently has a flat tire. And that thing, yeah, it works pretty good. It's got a new battery in it, so it actually starts now. But I haven't used it much lately. Oh yeah, I built this Cat Zero 3-point adapter for, well, I've mounted it on this, but eventually I'm going to get a 3-point for this, so it'll be used on either one. And I'd like to build a little carriage that will slip into the receiver there and be able to pick up the front wheels of a broken down tractor. Speaking of broken down tractors, let's take a walk out here. Not point the camera up just yet. There's something over that way that you can't see yet. So here is the one of the two parts Sears tractors that I got. This one's donating its fenders. Well, maybe somebody was nice and cut those, but fenders, fuel tank bracket, the seat spring, and I'm only missing the piece that goes on top of the fuel tank. It holds it down, but you can find them on eBay, or I could just make one. But it's given that to the diesel Sears, all those pieces. And then it's got a B48M, I believe it is. There's the 43M. Hang on. See if I can get stung by bees. It's a B48M. And, ouch, just pinched my finger. Well, way to go, dumb nuts. How are you going to get it now? You're a penis in my anus. There you go. You got it. But I still love you. So anyway, what the hell did I do? Well, I bought a deer John, a jaundiced deer. And I got this from one of my friends. He bought it with the intentions of turning it into, well, I guess a 140 lookalike as best he could. And then I think he was building it for his son, and then I guess his son lost interest, and he just said screw it and decided to sell it. And so I got it for pretty good price, and we're gonna throw that owning off of that onto it and have a pretty cheap John Deere 318 that I may end up painting eventually. We'll see, as long as it works good. But yeah, it needs a seat and a few other odds and ends, but we'll make a good working tractor out of her just yet. Right, Ace? Right, buddy? Yeah. Right on. Well, that's all that's going on up here, so I'll set it back to back in the past me, back at the shop. Well, I'm going to end this video off here by giving you guys some kind of sad news, but it's a door for another opportunity, I suppose. So if you remember back to, I believe it was the fall 2019 update, I had looked that way and said, or well, pointed the camera that way and said, might have some exciting news in the spring. Well, the exciting news would have been that there's a piece of property back there in that wooded section. There's about 4.25 acres, and it's owned by a woman who, well, she's had it for a long time. And there's a trailer back there that it's to the point where you can't live in it anymore, and she hasn't lived there the past couple years. So just about a year, just over a year ago, I asked her if she wanted to sell it, and she said sure. So a couple months went by, and I said, how are we making out here? And she said she had to get something straightened out with the deed. I guess there was a lien against the title or something, and so I left it go for a while. I think I asked her, I can't remember. Anyway, some time went by, and I'd ask her in the winter, the following winter, so have you made any progress? Blah, blah, blah. You know, you can settle liens on the title at closing with the down payment, blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, I'll be ready to sell by spring. Well, guess what? Fall's approaching. And she's been avoiding me like the plague. At least it seems that way. So I've given up on that. It would have been a nice little property to own. Probably would have tore the trailer down, obviously, because it's not livable. Put up something and a little shop maybe, but it ain't gonna happen. So my wife and I have been looking around and trying to find a house. Had a couple slip through our fingers. Unfortunately, didn't act quick enough, but we're still looking, keeping our fingers crossed and hopes semi-high. Man, I tell you what though, right now houses in our area are selling like hotcakes, so wish us luck. Anyway guys, I thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care.